All right, so I'm in. I've got my frame in front of his throat instead of being back here. I'm gonna bump, throw my elbow, hand's gonna come underneath like I'm getting ready to do ghost, but then I'm gonna roll, go directly over the shoulder, and lock in like a rear naked choke. Don't actually grab, don't worry about it. Just want the hand in, and I'm actually gonna push up into my forearm, and then pull my shoulder back to the floor. That's gonna go into a shoulder crunch up through here. That's option one. Option two, when they start coming in, I always shoot for the shoulder, because then when he pulls, he'll pull down to the elbow. If you shoot for the elbow and he pulls, you end up in the forearm, now he's out. So if I come over the top and I start to put my pressure and he starts to pull, okay, so now we're into an inside shoulder lock. I don't count on it, to be honest with you. Okay, he has too much movement that he can now create whatever space he's looking for, but generally speaking, pushing into me becomes a very hard condition for him, because as I'm rotating, his hips want to start. So at least if I go for it and I go inside shoulder lock, he's going to give me a little bit of the space. Now we can go back to open guard. So again, I get to go into an attack. It fails, more than likely we go back to open guard. If it stays connected, I might get a shoulder lock. So I come in, bump, shoot over the shoulder, then through here, I immediately start pushing through, rotate back. If he pulls, okay, we can come in here. My hand, this is good, but as we come through, I prefer to shift inside. Now we can start looking to bring our knee shields in, but even then, if I don't like it, we just go back to open guard. And then the last of the three is if I come in, we pop, I go over, and he shifts his hand from one side to the other, so it'll be like a limp arm, and we come in and go into our reverse ghost to make our exit. So I do ghost, reverse ghost quite a bit. So once they kind of start to know quite a bit of ghost, so I pop, create my gap. As soon as I go here, go to roll out, that hand comes in to block my shoulder. So, yep, go the other side. Yep. So now, literally you can't. So that's when we start to switch to go into our reverse. And generally speaking, through here, they push in chest to chest, okay? And that's when I switch, come in one-handed, going into your full Nelson. Okay, so again, don't worry about gripping. I want pressure going through. So when I'm here, and then he starts to drive in, now when I make my connection, we can bring him over. You can either roll with him. Some of the guys yesterday were doing a pretty good job. Some of them were actually landing back takes almost immediately off of the roll. As they're coming in, just setting it so that as they're landing literally between the legs. So you can either, so we come in, he blocks, we reverse, he drives in, there goes my hand. So right here, as he's coming over, going directly into your back take, going directly into side control, going directly into scorpions, pretty much whatever your exit wants to be. But the biggest part is when my hand is here, reverse. Is this hand as he drives in, I'm scooting away and I'm feeding into that armpit. So once we're here, this hand can start to dive. Because I've already got him trapped with my arm into position. As long as I get the one-handed full Nelson, it's either crank or he rolls. Most people choose to roll. So
with the other one, you push the
guide the
ball
hips. Yep. Take them where you want to go. I'm gonna do a bunch of different crap. But if we're actually fighting, like half the stuff disappears. I just won't touch it. But again, you gotta know what are you playing for. So if I'm playing things like, so same thing, I come in, he blocks, we come around, I go in, so right through here, okay, I'm gonna take him up and over, here he goes. So through here, I'm gonna pull into the inside shoulder. Okay. First time I ever learned scorpion was this way. Okay, one, I have kicked so many people in the nuts trying to do that. The other thing I don't like about it is, when I use my left foot, I have no exit strategy. So what I started doing through here was using my right. So I come in, hook over the hips if I can. Okay. Through here, I don't even care about the armpit anymore as long as I can keep a hand near the chest. I drive my hips in and pull the elbow, just the same way I would a heel hook in through here. Okay. If for some reason I can't hook the hip, okay, I'm okay hooking into his leg in through here. Same thing, lock it up nice and tight. Now, if for some reason, and this is the reason why I prefer my right leg over the top, this disappears. I missed. Okay, I get a chance for mount. If I did it this way, I'm pretty much screwed. Like, he gets a chance to get up before I do. I don't get a chance to get up before him.
Easy to do.
Right. So depending on how he lands when I'm here, okay, this leg was already inside. This is the common way that I tend to play it. I'll come in, I hook, and I leave this shin up against his body. So that now even through here, even without this hand, this shin is blocking his body from really being able to make an easy up. I still have my hips to go after the elbow with the inside shoulder lock. And if for some reason everything misses, okay, he is at least restricted by a half move where I'm going to have the better option of being able to get up on top because he at least has this little knee shield in the way. Again, I don't really like scorpions. They're fun, you know, but again, at the same time, Hail Marys exist for a reason. You know, sometimes you need a quick win and time's running out. I don't have any other real option. You know, tapping is my only way out, you know, or at least the only way to get the win. So sometimes you roll the dice and, you know, you figure I'm already losing. That's what you again, I'm in. Okay, I'm gonna give it a little bump, create the space. Okay, I'm gonna come under. Okay, but then through here, nope, everything fucked up. So all I'm gonna get is just into north-south. So generally speaking, I put fists into the hips, create the space as best I can. You'd be amazed at how many people elevate their hips to think they're gonna drive in, especially if they have a strong wrestling base. This is what they love to do. And then what's crazy is when they move, wrestlers bounce. Wrestlers, you know, it's crazy. They don't move all that. They're so worried about that chest pressure. So when I'm here and you feel the bounce and you feel them moving and hopping and everything else, you just kind of time the position. So as soon as you feel it, I'm gonna come up. If I can get the hips in the air, the next piece they do is they always then sink heavy down. Now, I set a gable grip, hands by the armpit, bring it in nice and tight, and my forearm is across his ribs. I can do this early, but it really helps when especially they're kind of giving me the space. My hands pull to my belly button, so through here, my hands pull forward, and it almost always takes those hips off of pace a little bit. And again, you can feel my forearm sitting into the ribs. Now, so as I bring them in, then I make basically like an upa coming in through here. But the goal is to push over my hips as opposed to over my head. So I pull in, my left elbow goes to the ground, and my right elbow goes over the top. Every once in a while, you'll get somebody yelling tap in the middle, and usually it's because when they were going over, they tried to post, so they, instead of having their arm in a nice line this way, they put it out. So when they start going over, it turns into like an inside shoulder lock accidentally. Mainly it's because they're trying to post, but once that weight sets in their hand, they can't let go. So when it starts going over the top, every once in a while you'll hear somebody yelling tap, 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 you know, and then you just take pressure off. But in a lot of instances, or even through here, if let's say you start going to north-south yourself, you like literally just brought my hands. So this hand was here, now right here, you just literally brought my hands to me. So now through here, I bring it in, you feel the pinch into the shoulder, and then we just ride it to north-south, or top-side control, whichever we like. You know, then the other part is, you go to get in, and you land, and you put the pressure in, almost two things happen, almost routinely. Okay, let's say three. Okay, one, I land it. 2, they pull away. That's like the 2 majors. That's the vast majority of the time. I put the pressure in, they pull their arm out, now they're sitting up, open guard, escape, back to your knees, scramble, whatever you like. Biggest part is at that point, they're not smashing me down anymore. So as long as you're prepped, I latch on, I pull my hands down to my chest. If this is where their arm is, I pull towards that armpit, pull, elbow in, elbow over the top we go. Or as soon as that crunch happens and they go here, they pull, but now they've taken all that pressure off. So again, spin open guard, play the game you like.